Clean out the junk in your trunk.
Welcome back to 6 Weeks to Wellness from inVibeHealth.com with your host Jan Fitzpatrick, and welcome back to our 4-part series on spring cleaning. It's that time of year. So we've been talking about all kinds of different things. This one is about clean out the junk in your trunk. What are we talking about here, Jan?
Well, it's spring, and it's time to shake off the winter heaviness and lighten up. And wisdom traditions tell us that this is the perfect time for internal spring cleaning.
All right, I am intrigued by this, so we're going to cover 3 things as always. And the 3 things you told me we're going to cover are spring in Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, and spring, and then today's technologies and what they have to do with spring. So let's take it from the top. Spring cleaning is our theme. What is spring in the Ayurvedic tradition?
Well, Ayurveda is a 5,000-year-old Indian tradition that comes from the spiritual texts, and it means Ayurveda means knowledge or science of life. And spring in Ayurveda is warm and soft and liquid, and as the heat from the sun awakens the earth, everything begins to move. And anything that's accumulated over the wintertime that has gotten stagnant will try to come out, and it may come out as colds, sinus congestion, or even allergies. So we are, really the best thing that they say to do is a few things are to say to eat lighter because it's no longer winter, no longer need all that warmth inside. Get up earlier. The sun gets up earlier, and you should too. And also you may want to do a cleansing program such as Panchkarma, which is a traditional Ayurvedic cleansing program.
Okay. Well, springtime. It's true. Your body does shift very much. I mean, I think we're pretty out of touch sometimes when we live in our little artificial cocoons that we've created. But your body knows those seasons, and and things do shift, and the entire energy starts to shift. All right. So that's the 5,000-year-old Ayurvedic tradition, and some of the changes that come with spring. Let's talk traditional Chinese medicine. That's been around a long time too, hasn't it?
Yes. And they believe that all change is linked together by the seasons of the year, nature aspects, and your body organs. And spring in Chinese medicine is the element of wood, and the element of wood is connected to the liver and gallbladder. So they are the targets of springtime cleansing in that tradition. They ask you to add morning stretches like yoga and tai chi because liver and gallbladder are related to the tendons, and you need to stretch. You know how you kind of do this when you're cold? Well, now it's spring. Reach out, reach up. It's time to move. And this is really interesting, is to exercise your eyes. The eyes are related to your liver. You know how you say see when you get angry, you see red? Well, you say see, it does affect your eyes. The liver has to do with anger, and it affects your eyes. So you exercise, and mostly, well, this is all the time, is to, when you do computer work, look out and look off into the distance. So you're exercising your muscles, your close and far
because otherwise you're staring up close all the time, right?
Yeah, and then it kind of gets stuck there in that position. And since spring is a time where everything kind of starts coming out of the earth, especially early spring, start eating more green, fresh, young green plants.
So it's sprout season, right?
Yeah. It's greens season.
Greens.
The cool greens, yeah.
That's right. You could do the microgreens and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, if we were living in a traditional world, right, that's what would be coming out of the earth at that time of year. So why not?
Dandelion tea, those kinds of things.
Excellent. All right, so we've gone from, ancient Indian tradition to now ancient Chinese medicine. Talk to me about the modern world, today's technology. What is what's going on here, and are we in good shape or are we in trouble?
Well, we talked about spring being the natural push towards renewal and revitalization, and we also talked about menopause in previous videos. That menopause is the time to wake up to who you really are. And any of those unresolved issues will show up as physical symptoms. And we talked about in Ayurveda, they talked about that too, that when you push things out that have accumulated over the winter and they get stuck, you have symptoms like colds and allergies and things like that. So, and before menopause, well, now that you are in the menopause or post-menopause, there's no monthly cycle. And that was the monthly time of purging, of getting rid of anything in the body that didn't belong there. So you have to do it on purpose now, at least monthly and definitely seasonally. Some things to do are to get adequate rest, go outside and enjoy the warm weather and nature, things growing, and exercise. And one of the things I found is pretty interesting was to eat all of your food in a small amount of time, 8 to 10 hour time frame. Then everything gets digested properly and your digestive system actually gets a rest.
So really extend that fasting cycle by having a big long stretch where you're not actually consuming anything. Interesting,
Some other things you might want to do are massage, which moves things out of your tissues. Epsom salt baths would be a nice match to that, because then it would just be kind of pulled out of your body and gotten rid of into the water. And also the ion therapy foot bath, which is a little bit a stronger, more effective, more efficient way to help those things in your body release that have been stagnant and stuck and accumulated all during the wintertime.
Excellent. I know there's lots of great more information specifically about that over at inVibeHealth.com for people too. So this has been great. So again, we're continuing this whole series here all about spring cleaning, and this episode's really been about cleaning out the junk in your trunk. And I feel like we've just traveled the world and time traveled, Jan. So we went from 5,000-year-old Ayurvedic traditions to traditional Chinese medicine traditions, and then came all the way to modern times and some of today's technology and things like an ion foot bath obviously weren't around 5,000 years ago. But now you can get all that great information over at Jan's website at inVibeHealth.com, where you can connect to tons of information at this point that Jan has developed and created for you. And there's a great offer, right, Jan? So you've got a book that people can pay for if they'd like to over on Amazon, but why would you do that when Jan has got a great offer for you to come over to inVibeHealth.com, click on the image of the book, the little banner there, and you can just put in your name and email address and have it instantly delivered for free. But you get a lot more than that. You get connected to Jan, and on her mailing list, we are finishing up this series of spring cleaning. We have lots of previous video series that we've done. You do an amazing job with tons of blog posts with just great information that you are sharing with your audience. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that great stuff, it's real simple. Come on over to inVibeHealth.com and get connected with Jan Fitzpatrick. So Jan, till our next episode, I'll see you soon.
Thanks for joining us.